Hey everyone, Mrs. Jordan here, and thanks for joining me for my 7th grade English class. Today, I'm going to help you understand the difference between the topic, the main idea, and the theme of a story or text. A lot of people think they're the same thing. Spoiler alert, they're not. And it's actually really important to know the difference because once you do, you'll be able to read and write with much deeper meaning. In fact, it's really difficult to connect with what you're reading and writing without understanding this. Here's the good news. Even though most people get them mixed up, it's not hard. You have to know what to look for. And once you see it, you'll never confuse them again.
All right, before we dive in, let's talk about what you'll be able to do by the end of today's lesson. First, you'll be able to identify the topic of a text, basically what it's about, in just one word or phrase. Next, you'll be able to determine the main idea and the theme. That's where a lot of people get tripped up, but today I'm going to show you how to tell them apart to avoid any confusion. And finally, you'll be able to explain the difference between the main idea and the theme so you can really prove that you get it. So by the end of this lesson, you'll have all of the tools that you'll need to confidently say, yep, I know the topic, I know the main idea, and I know the theme, and I can explain how they're different. Now, let's think about what you may already know. Every story begins with a subject. That's the thing it's mostly about. Then come the characters, events, and the details that bring the story to life. And often the author wants us to walk away with some kind of bigger story, message, or purpose. You already know this, but it's possible that you didn't know the exact terms for these ideas. And so today I'm going to teach you the names to those different storytelling layers: topic, main idea, and theme. Let's start with the topic. Remember, every story begins with a subject, the thing it's mostly about. That's the topic. You can usually say it in one word or a very short phrase. For example, the story or the topic might be about friendship, basketball, or courage. The topic is simple, but it's really important because it's the foundation for everything else. Next comes the main idea. The main idea is basically what happened in the story. Think of it like the play-by-play announcer in a basketball game. The announcer tells you exactly what's happening. Johnson dribbles down the court, passes to Smith. She shoots, she scores. No life lessons, no big messages, just the facts of what happened. And finally, we get to the theme. The theme is the bigger message, the story it's teaching us. That's like the coach's speech at the end of a game. For instance, hard work and practice pays off, or teamwork leads to success. Okay, here's how they fit and work together to help you to understand the story. The topic tells you what the story is about. The main idea sums up the events, and the theme teaches us the lesson behind those events. If you mix up the topic, main idea, and theme, it's like you're asking the play-by-play announcer to give a motivational speech to the team. Nope, that's the wrong person for the job. And so each part of the story has its own purpose. And when they work together, they give you the full picture of the story, what it's about, what happened, and why it matters. All right, let's practice this together. At the top of the slide, you'll see a short passage, which I'll read to you in a moment. Below it, you will see 3 boxes, A, B, and C. Each one of these boxes represents either the topic, the main idea, or the theme. And it's going to be up to you to try to figure out which one is the correct one. And don't worry, I'll guide you through. So here's the passage. Jamal forgot his lines during the school play. His friends encouraged him to keep going, and he finished the scene with confidence. The audience clapped loudly at the end. So, which one is the topic? Remember, the topic is the thing that it's mostly about, it's the general idea. So, take a moment to read A, B, and C, and let's see what you come up with. Once you think you know the answer, just kind of put it in your head. Sometimes I like to use things like sign language with the A and B and C, and I'll just kind of put it in my hand so that when the teacher gives the answer, I'm being truthful to myself that I know what it means. So I'll give you a hint. The answer is not A. Are you getting closer? The answer is C. And you can know the answer is C because it says the story is about Jamal and his school play. The story is about a boy and a play. And very, very simple words, right? So now let's go on to the main idea. So we know it's not C, so it's got to be either A or B. So take one more quick look at it and see if you can decide which one it is, but I'll give you a hint. The main idea is about events in the story. So which one looks like it's about an event? Well, if you chose B, then you would be correct. Jamal forgot his lines. So he forgot. That's a thing that happened. But his friends helped him. Helping is an event. Finish the play confidently. Finish is also another event word. So that means is that means that A is going to be the theme. And the theme in this particular story is even if you make mistakes, confidence and support can help you to succeed. And that's an amazing thing. And it's true. So I hope that made sense. Before we wrap up, let's just do one final and quick recap. Remember that the topic is one or two words that tells us what the story is about. The main idea tells us what happened using details and events. And the theme is the big lesson, like the coach's speech about why it all matters. Since we've learned a lot about this topic and you've practiced with me, now let's see what you can do on your own. Above, you'll find a link to the exit ticket for this lesson. You'll receive a grade for your participation, so it's important that you complete it. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to read a short passage about a girl named Ella. Then you'll match 3 statements to the correct label, topic, main idea, or theme. Next, you'll answer a question about the difference between the theme and the main idea. And finally, you'll answer a question about the difference between the main idea and the topic. That's it, just 3 questions. And then when you submit your answers, you're done for today. Remember, this counts for your grades, so do your best work. I hope you had a good time learning about this topic. See you next time.